Baby, this is the hottest on the streets right now. Brenay, Akira, Tim, Devin, just a mess, okay? Well, we about to get into this lawsuit. They are in court. I ain't gonna hold y'all long. Let's go ahead and get into it and get our reaction on. Let's do it.
Today is trial day for Brenay and Akira. This is the alienation of affection lawsuit that we have all been waiting to see how this was going to end. Now, there are going to be a lot of content creators at the courthouse today. They're going to go live, bringing us updates. They're going to make their own videos. I do have a few people inside of the courtroom that are going to update me when they go on break so I can know what's happening inside of there. And I'll let y'all know as soon as I know something. But in all honesty, I was really afraid that today was going to be canceled. I just have to wait and see how things play out. There are so many motions left on the table. There's a motion to suppress, a motion to dismiss this entire case. There is motions to bring in more evidence, motions for interrogatories. Like, it's just so much going on right now, and the judge has not made a ruling on anything as of yet. So maybe the judge is going to go in and just say deny, 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 or approve, approve, approve. But all of this stuff is going to be needed to see how much income Brenay has, to make sure that the video that they have of Brenay talking about Tim is going to be able to be used during this trial. So much to come into play. Soon as I have some more information, you all, I will let you all know. Just make sure y'all are posted. Today is trial day for tensions are high at the courthouse right now, y'all. They are so high that Brenay mama is bumping into people and it's looking like she's doing it on purpose. Brenay is crying loudly to the point where the bailiff had to open the door to check on her and make sure she is okay. Y'all, this is the update as of 10:50 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Now, things have slightly been pushed back. So the motions will be heard at noon Eastern Standard Time. And if the trial is set to continue after that, they will begin jury selection. Once jury selection is done, the actual trial is set to start at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Now, y'all know I usually like to go only by court documents, but unfortunately, I am not inside the courthouse and I can't read any documents as of right now, so I'm having to rely on the people that are there, and I do appreciate you all. Now, remember, these motions are big because it's a motion to dismiss this entire case. It's a motion to suppress evidence, and the evidence is the video of Brenay talking about Tim and how she felt about him and how she felt about his fat father. Y'all, everything is pretty tense up there right now. There are lots of people waiting to hear this trial, but as soon as I have some more information, I will let you all know. Tensions are high at the courthouse right now, y'all. All of Brenay's motions have been denied. All of them. Y'all, at this point, Brenay has to get off of ChatGPT and call either the Lincoln lawyer or Annalise Keating or somebody, because they say that she is embarrassing herself so bad that they're starting to feel sorry for her. Now, this video, we're going to break down all the motions that they discussed today. So the motion to quash. The motion to quash was about her bank statements. So Brenay is saying that she went to the bank, she got a copy of these records, and she turned them over to Robin. But Robin said Brenay only got certain dates, and those certain dates even had stuff whited out. So that motion was quashed, and Robin now has all of the documents for Brenay's bank account that she requested. Now, the next motion was the motion to suppress. This is about the video that was of Brenay that was found on Tim's laptop. Now, this is not only going to help Akira with this trial, but this is going to help her with that lawsuit that Tim has against her as well. So basically, Brenay gets up there saying that Akira stole the laptop, was not supposed to be on it, not supposed to be using it. And when she found the video, she was holding the video over Brenay and Tim's head for months. Now, Brenay is saying that Tim and Akira had already been separated. However, it was Robin, and I'm guessing it was Robin's assistant or maybe just another attorney. But the other person got up and was like, they had this information for over a year. Yet they waited to 7 days before the trial started to even bring up this issue. And then Robin got up and added on to that, said, hey, Akira paid 50-50 on that laptop. So that laptop is partially hers, which means she has every right and full access just like Tim does. That was a family laptop. Brenay then started saying that this is all about money, that Akira is just trying to get money out of this situation and embarrass her. Look at all these people here. She then even brings up Akira's accident, saying that Akira told them if they didn't bring those kids back, that she was going to do whatever. I guess she was trying to insinuate this lawsuit is because they took the kids from the hospital, which is insane. Y'all, it's just a big mess at this point. She even brings up them all being friends and how they used to vent to her and that she was their mediator. And I don't think that she realizes that makes it sound even worse, the fact that she was giving advice to this couple and then she turned around and started sleeping with the husband while he was still married.
My God.
Y'all, as soon as I have some more updates, I will let you all know. But jury selection is going to start, and I don't think the public is going to be allowed in during this time. But then the trial should start right after if they have enough time. So there was no trial today for Brenay and Akira, but they did go ahead and start the jury selection process. And it looks like they did make it quite far in that process. And if they did not finish today, they should be able to finish first thing in the morning and go ahead and get this case started. Now, I do know they have to give opening statements. So that means Brenay is going to be giving her own opening statement. And I don't think that is very smart because some of the things she said today could really mess her up. So we already been talking about this video that was found on Tim's laptop. They had stated that the video was found around January or February, but Brenay went in court and said that Akira had been holding that video over their head for months. Now, I do think she said like either May or June. I'm really thinking she said May of the year before. So that means you was messing with that lady man for a long time before anybody ever found out about it. It also came out that Brenay turned in financial documents that had whiteout on it, like she was trying to hide some information purposely. On top of that, it came out that the laptop that Tim is saying that Akira had no business being on was actually half bought by Akira. They split the cost for the laptop and they both shared it as a family computer. Y'all, tomorrow is going to be a very interesting day. Don't forget I do work, y'all. But I will bring y'all the updates as soon as I have them. As soon as I have more, I'll let y'all know. So there was no trial. Jurors have been selected, opening statements have been given, and Akira is already on the witness stand. They are now at the first recess for Brenay and Akira's alienation of affection lawsuit trial. Now, the jurors seem to be made up of 8 women and 4 men. They all seem to be around the ages of 40 plus through like 75 years of age. Now, with the opening statements, Ms. Robin, who is representing Akira, went straight in. However, Brenay's opening statement seemed like it was only 30 seconds. So Ms. Robin goes in and says that Brenay and Akira had this friendship where Akira was being a genuine friend, but Brenay was only keeping Akira close because she was trying to get close to Tim. They bring up the fact that Brenay reached out to Akira saying that her and Devin were having issues, things had become abusive, and that she basically just needed somebody. So Akira, being the person that she was, allowed Brenay to come and stay with them so that she could know that her friend was being safe. Now, at this time, Akira is the breadwinner. Tim is at school in which Akira is helping to pay for it. She states that Brenay and Tim are now married, and that marriage is built off of the tears of another woman. So Brenay gets up there to do her opening statement, moving her hands and stuff, saying, I know y'all hear all of these things, but this case will be about facts. There will be other issues, but they had been previously separated. Girl, what? Is that all you got to say? Let's just stick to it. So then Akira gets on the stand and Robin starts to ask her about her previous relationship with Brenay. And at this point, Akira breaks down. Akira states that Brenay was her friend and she considered Brenay to be like an aunt to her children. They also talk about December of 2023 where they had a Christmas event and Akira was there, their families were there, but they also invited Brenay and Devin to come over. So both couples were there. Both couples seemed to be happy and in love and spending time as a family. Now, also in December of 2023, Akira and Tim went on a 7-day cruise. This is basically being mentioned to show that how could they have been so happy and everything going so well in December to finding videos a few days later of Brenay talking about her feelings for Tim. Now, Akira was also asked about her relationship with Devin at the time, and she stated that she did not have a personal relationship with him. She only really had interactions with him when he was either with Brenay or when he was with Tim, that she wasn't raised like that. She respected personal boundaries. She also mentioned that she never talked to Brenay about her and Devin's ex-life. Now, there was also another exhibit that was entered in, but they did not go through this. It was given to the judge. It seemed to be a really big binder, and it was filled with text messages. Y'all, as soon as I have some more information, I will let you all know.
Child, this is
They
good
done got to
to
tussle
me.
in court, y'all. So Akira was still on the witness stand, and Tim and Brenay's mama get up and walk out. Well, shortly after that, Tim's mama and Akira's aunt walks out.
What?
All of a sudden, you can hear yelling and you can hear a whole bunch of thumping noises. Now, the officers did come back inside of the courtroom and get their belongings. So at this point, I don't know if they got arrested or if they just have been escorted out and are not going to be allowed back in. Now, this testimony that Akira was given really got people upset, seems like, because Breanay had been talking about her own family to Akira. So she was basically telling Akira that she wanted to be around them more because she did not like being around her own family. She said that Corinne was considered the prettier twin and she didn't want to be around her. She called Kayla a Spike. Substitute the SP, add a D. She did not get along with her brother, and she said her mama was like this super Christian, and she really didn't want to be around them because they all were after her money. They then talked about when Breanay started to stay with Tim and Akira. Basically, Breanay said that Devin was beating on her, and Akira said that she now knows that that was all a lie. However, Tim was really pushing for Breanay to stay because of Devin's so-called behavior. She said she went ahead and allowed it. She let Tim take the lead. But as the time went on, she started to feel uncomfortable by Breanay being there, and she told Tim about it. She said that anytime her and Tim would like be sitting together or doing something together, Breanay would always try to like find a way to include herself or edge Akira out of the way. She said some nights she would go to bed around 8 p.m. and wake up around 11, and Tim would not be in the bedroom with her. He would be in the den with the door closed with Breanay. So she said it got to a point where Tim just kept gaslighting her, telling her she was overreacting, and she didn't have anybody she could talk to about it. So she started to get piercings. That was her way to deal with stuff. So she ended up seeing her mom and her grandma, and they asked her why she had so many piercings. I think she may have had like between 6 and 8 piercings, and I think most of them were in her face. And she went ahead and broke down and just told them everything that was going on. And they were like, oh, hell no, we finna get this handled now. So the grandma ends up popping up over there one day. So she's banging on the door. Her and Breanay began to have words because she said the den was filthy. There were chips bags everywhere, drink bottles everywhere. There was blankets around. It was just nasty. And she told Breanay, like, I don't know where you're going to go, but you just got to go. You can't be here. And Breanay told her, I don't got to go nowhere. Tim wants me here. And they began to get into it, and Breanay pushed Akira's grandmother. So at this point, the brother started calling people, and the whole family starts to pop up over there. And at this time, they tell Tim, like, hey, you even got to go. Tim then gets in the car that Akira is paying for, him and Breanay, and they left together. The judge is making stricter rules at this point because of the whole altercation. So the person who was reported back to me only had a few minutes to give me that information. Soon as I have some more, I will let you all know. The video that Breanay sent Tim was so raunchy that a juror has quit. She said she don't want to hear no more. She can't take anymore. And at this point, she can't say if she'll be fair and impartial. Y'all, the jurors are disgusted with Breanay at this point. So Akira is still on the witness stand, and Robin is asking her about that video, but she also asked her, is there any other videos? And Akira says yes, and there are also screenshots. She says there are text messages between Tim and Corinne, and she stops it right there. She said, but there's also a text message that Tim sent Breanay a picture of my fresh pedicure and told her to go and get hers done the same way. Y'all, this answers the fact that we all been saying that Breanay has been copying Akira's styles. Tim is probably telling her to do that. Now, Brenay's infamous video that she sent to Tim, she's laying on the floor in Akira's house with music playing. And the first part is kind of hard to decipher, but she either says something to the nature of she wants to suck up the liquid babies or suck on the coconuts. But then she goes into saying she wanted to give him the world, the moon, the stars, the sun. And Akira said she did feel some type of way because they weren't just well off. They were having financial issues. And here's this woman with some money offering to give him the world. Breanay also goes in on that video saying that she likes it when Tim hits it from the front, the back, the side. And then she also says, considering we just had X. Now, you know they were trying to say that this video was Breanay reminiscing from when they did it in high school. But on the video, Breanay said that they had just done it. Now, Akira said when she found this video, she was physically ill. She became faint, hot, sweaty. And she sent it to Tim and was like, what is this? Tim started trying to call her phone, but she didn't answer because she felt physically sick. Now at this point, Akira's voice is kind of cracking a little bit, and she's looking at her mom and her grandma, and she was talking about how her mom had maxed out her cards trying to help Tim get a car because Tim had to go to school and needed transportation, and she talked about all the stuff that her grandmother had did for them. Now remember, I told y'all that Akira's family came over there and that the grandma was telling Breanay she had to get out. Well, after this, the family ends up having an intervention with Akira. It's like, listen, you getting played. We need you to open your eyes. Akira said that she was really believing her husband at the time. Her husband could have told her that he was out robbing a bank, and she could have saw it on camera and she would have believed him. But she listened to her family and she left. So during this time, Tim goes back to the house. Brenay took her ass back to the house too. Now, in January, Tim was texting Akira's phone. This is January 2024, saying, "You betrayed me." And Akira was like, "I want Brenay out." And Tim responds back saying, "You're making this about Brenay and it's not. I don't mess with her. There's nothing going on. Everything with me and her is old." Akira apologized to him, still trying to believe what he was saying. Now, in March of 2024, there was a picture of Akira in like a thong, and she sent it to Tim and said, "I want to get ate up." He responded back basically something to the nature of, "Good, I'm on the way." So then Akira was asked, "Well, what made you stop believing that Tim was being faithful to you?" And she said, "Well, Devin reached out to me and he confirmed that Tim and Brenay were definitely sleeping together and that Tim had actually slept with Korean too." Also earlier today, Akira was saying how Tim was downplaying Brenay, saying that Breanay and Korean were doing actual favors in school. Basically, they was loose. They was some little hussies. They ain't know what they were doing. They were just giving it out. And that he had hooked Breanay and Devin up just so Devin could get one off. Now, they also brought up the kids on how the kids were basically trying to beg for Tim's attention and his time. But since he's been with Breanay, he's basically neglecting them. They also brought up the fact that the kids are really confused on why they have to now call Auntie Breanay mommy, because they're trying to force the kids to call her that. Y'all, they have another video that they're about to play tomorrow, and don't nobody know what it is as of yet. But as soon as I have some more information, I will let you all know. The video, Devin has voluntarily dismissed the case against Breanay, y'all. Well, one of them. So we already know they got a million things going on at the same time. However, today they had a hearing scheduled, and it was for the post-separation support. Now, he went ahead and had paperwork filed saying that he wanted to voluntarily dismiss this, and he did it without prejudice. And what that means is that he can come back and file this at any time if he needs to. Post-separation support is basically just temporary support. Most of the time, this is granted while you're going through the separation phase, waiting for your divorce. This is money to help cover your expenses and things of that nature. Now, they're already divorced, so there's really no need to keep going with this situation, and they already have the equitable distribution as well as the alimony. Those other things are still coming up. They made sure that they put on there that they were dismissing the post-separation support only. Now, they have a hearing scheduled for December the 16th, and their trial date is scheduled for January the 22nd. So it looks like their case is going to be moving pretty fast and wrapping up at the beginning of next year. Soon as I have some more information, I will let you all know. The judge has found probable cause that Tim could be held in civil or criminal contempt of court, and it's all because of Brenay's sister, Kayla. Y'all, is he going to make Breanay or her sister pay for this? Or is he going to come out of pocket himself? I think we all know the answer to that, but let's just talk about what happened. Going on. So, okay, you know, a while back, Kayla started popping it online. Now, first she posted the kids while they were out at Chili's. I don't know what's so grand about Chili's that she needed to violate a court order to post the kids, but she posted them. I think you can see like their school uniforms with the school name on it. So a motion was filed about that. Well, recently she has filed court documents and started discussing the court documents on a video. Now, Akira and her attorney filed paperwork on July 30th saying that both of these videos have gotten thousands of views. Now, they're saying that him and the people that he got around him, these third parties, have no respect for these court proceedings, and they have no disregard for anything that the judge is saying at this point, and something needs to be done. Now, we know that back in the paperwork, when they originally filed like the custody thing back in July of 2024, it said that they could not come online and discuss these proceedings as well as post the kids online, and they could not allow a third party to do so. Well, this is the second time that this has happened, and both times happened because of Kayla, Brenay's sister. I wonder what the conversation is about to be inside that house, because They're asking for her attorney fees to be paid, for him to be held in civil and criminal contempt of court, and any other fees that the court sees fit. So that's going to be at least $2,000, y'all, if not more. Soon as I have some more information, I will let you all know. Devin overheard Tim and Breanay doing the Oochie Coochie multiple times in his house. He said one of these times they had Akira's son over there with them, and once they finished, they called him to the room to bring them some wipes so they could clean themselves up.
What?
Y'all, I cannot make this up. So far, Devin has taken a stand, Akira's mom has taken a stand, and Akira's therapist has taken a stand. Jurors have been seen crying, shaking their heads, looking in disgust. Akira has bust out crying, and it even had to have like a small little break at the beginning of court. And it's rumored that it's possibly about Tim bringing that weapon on yesterday. Now that's just word on the street, that it might have something to do with that, and that Tim might not be taking a stand because he might be looked at as a threat. So when the therapist was on the stand, she basically said that Akira progressively got worse. When she first came in, it was basically just depression, that Akira was really sad that her marriage has failed. She was embarrassed. And over time, she was going through things because now it's all over social media. She's constantly being tagged all day. And it went to generalized anxiety disorder, that Akira was sometimes getting triggered by going to places like Lone Star or IHOP because she had went on double dates with these people in the past, and it would really trigger her. It said that as the time went on, Akira started to look different. She started to dress different. She was acting different. And so Breanay got up there and basically tried to call out one of the notes where Akira had said that she didn't know what she would do to Breanay. And so the lady was like, yeah, she did say that. She was like, but she didn't say it in like an aggressive way. She was saying it in more of a worried or concerned way. Then Breanay was like, but didn't she go to jail right after that for an altercation with me and her? And the lady was like, yeah, she did. However, she was not found guilty of that. So I really can't speak to that. They also mentioned that Akira had sent her child over with fresh braids, and Tim and Breanay took the hair down just to be spiteful. Tim was still sending her mean messages as of early this year. On top of that, she had concerns about them showing up with weapons when they did the exchange for the children. And basically, she felt like her kids were being groomed. So Devin took the stand, and he did clarify something that was said on yesterday. So the comment that was said on yesterday about him asking Breanay about doing something actual, and she said that she don't know. He said what actually happened is they had already done it. However, he knew that Tim was about to come over, so he asked her where was she going to lay, like where was she sleeping at, and she said that she didn't know. But when Tim came, she went in the room and she slept in a room with Tim. Now he said that he heard them doing it at least 4 times. He mentioned the time about when Akira's son was over there. He also talks about how Tim and Breanay started out in the spare bedroom, and at this time Devin was sleeping like in the makeup room or something. But at the end of January, Breanay asked for a divorce, and at that time Tim was now sleeping in Breanay and Devin's marital bed. Robin asked him, how did you feel when you found out that Breanay signed for an apartment for your cousin? And Devin was like, I really didn't care because I ain't never need a co-signer. So Breanay gets up and she says, how do you know that we asked him for wipes because we had just finished doing the Oochie Coochie? And he was like, cause I could hear y'all. I heard y'all. Y'all finished. Y'all called for him to bring wipes. So then she says, so allegedly, when are the dates that me and him were doing it? And he said, it's not allegedly. Y'all were doing it. I heard y'all. And it was January, February, and March. So then Breanay asked him, so who filed for divorce? He said, you did. And she said, so if I filed for divorce and if I told you I wanted a divorce, how did I blindside you? He said, you filed for divorce after the whole world basically knew that you were messing with Tim. Everybody knew what was going on by the time you filed for a divorce. Y'all, when Devin mentioned that Akira's son went and got wipes for Tim and Breanay after they had finished doing it, Akira burst out crying. It has been a very emotional day. You can see Akira's grandmother wiping her eyes, crying. Her mom is currently on the stand. She's going over how Tim and Akira's relationship was, how close they were, how he would plan events for her, how Breanay would be invited to these events. I'll do more on her when they finish her questioning. As soon as I have more information, I will let y'all know. So Akira is on the witness stand. Breanay is doing the cross-examination. Now, the first 10 to 15 minutes was so bad that the judge went ahead and gave them a little small break so that Breanay could get herself together. Now, Breanay did enter in some evidence, like some screenshots of social media posts. She was even using the actual lawsuit as evidence. And she started asking Akira all kind of questions, like what kind of man you like and stuff like that. So I did take note of a few, and I'm just going to go through them. Now, the screenshot that she had was a social media post of Akira saying that she can't wait for all of this to be over with. She's going to go on like a divorce celebration cruise, her and her brother, and she tags Devin. So Breanay was like, I thought you said that y'all were in love and that you weren't toxic. So what is this about? She said, girl, that is the aftermath of you. This is after you came in and wrecked stuff. So this is me saying that I'm ready for all of this to be over with. So then Breanay tries to have a aha moment and was like, so why is the lawsuit dated after that post? That looks like that post came first. And then Akira had to break it down and said, Breanay, this is an amended lawsuit. That means that some changes have been made. Therefore, the date on it has changed. The reason being is because you basically were not complying. You weren't paying what you were supposed to pay. You weren't submitting what you were supposed to submit. I guess ChatGPT did not explain that to Breanay. So then Breanay asked her, what are you losing without Tim? She says, I lose assistance with my kids. I don't have somebody to help me with household duties like cooking while I provide. I can't go back to school right now, and I don't have a second income in the house. Basically, I'm over here having to take care of everything all by myself while you and Tim are over there living like he does not have any responsibilities whatsoever. So then Breanay says, so you suing me for millions? And Akira says, well, I don't remember the full amount, but I do believe it's about $2 million. So Breanay goes in to start asking her, so when did you start feeling uncomfortable with me? She says, when you started living with us, you're walking around with short shorts and revealing shirts. Basically, you can see your whole body. You start pressing up on Tim. Y'all are going on dates. That made me feel uncomfortable, and I expressed that to both of y'all. So Breanay asked, you said that you were the breadwinner. Are you saying that Tim never provided? And then she was like, well, Tim would cook and clean. And if he got a refund check from school, then he'll use that to provide for whatever we needed for the household. So then Breanay asked her about how many times did you go to school and did you finish? And Akira was like, well, the first time I went, I had to stop because COVID came and we had a small child. And then I tried to go ahead and go back. But with everything that I have going on, I can't really just focus on that while my whole world is basically falling apart. So then Breanay had the audacity to ask Akira about her miscarriage. And so Akira goes to explain how her whole miscarriage happened, what she saw when she went to the bathroom. I'm not going to put all those details here. And Breanay said something to the nature of like, oh, I know that was hard, or something like that. And Akira was like, yeah, something you will never understand because you don't have kids. Wow. Y'all, then Breanay asked her basically what would this $2 million help her with? What would that replace? It's not going to replace Tim, basically. And Akira was like, yes, me and my kids can go to therapy because as of right now, her son is having issues at the moment. Her daughter is crying more. She's currently in therapy, and it'll help us to be able to provide the lifestyle that I'm not going to be able to have with my husband anymore. She said, yeah, we were struggling at times, but we were struggling together. We were figuring it out together. Y'all, Breanay needs to go and talk to somebody because this is not going in her favor. We're about to go live in just a few. I'll talk to y'all then. So Akira is on the witness. Tim has been arrested trying to bring a pew-pew inside of the courthouse, y'all. This is so bad. Akira is on the witness stand right now. Devin is set to take the witness stand next. And then he tried to act like he didn't remember that he had it on him. First off, it has a little weight to it, right? He was just inside of the courthouse. He leaves out for a short recess, goes to the vehicle, and comes back with a weapon that he has now forgotten that he got and put on him. Y'all, it's not making sense. Then he just went at Devin on yesterday in the hallway, calling him out of his name. He's been irate. They're saying that he got into it with like some other content creators outside in the parking lot earlier today. Y'all, I am afraid at this point for Akira. I try to stick to nothing but the facts, but the facts of the matter is you left out of the court without a weapon. You came back in less than an hour or so time, probably less than 15 minutes time, and you had a weapon on you. What was your intentions? Devin had sent Akira a voice note telling her that Tim and Corinne were sleeping together very heavy back in 2019. How old is that child again? Y'all, I have so many notes. Bear with me. Let me start from the top. So they play a video of Tim and Breanay on Akira's couch, and Breanay is like laying her head on Tim's shoulder. You can see the dog on there. They play TikToks of Tim and Breanay during this time where basically she's like just flaunting Tim around. Also, they introduced some text messages between Breanay and Akira. So Akira reached out to her like Barbara and Shirley, woman to woman, and was basically saying like, hey, I want to talk to you. And Akira offered to go to Brenay's house. Well, at this time, Breanay stops responding. So then Akira just flat out asked her like, hey, are you messing with Tim? Breanay does not respond again. Well, a few hours later pass by, and Akira sees that Breanay has now uploaded a YouTube video of her cooking breakfast and Tim coming downstairs with no shirt on. Akira then texts Breanay and was like, don't ever speak to me again. Don't ever come around my children again. And Breanay was like, get off my phone with that mess. I can't remember exactly what Akira said right after that, but Breanay responded back saying, you didn't even want me to be your kid's godmama anyway, so I don't know why you tripping. Akira say, you betrayed me. You lied to me, and that's still my husband that you flaunting around. Breanay responds back and says, not anymore, with the kissy face emoji. And at that moment, it should have been right, left, right, uppercut, suplex. Cause girl, what? Devin responds with this 18-minute voice note, and he's like, listen, that is not true. He says, I'm about to tell you some stuff that I probably should have told you a long time ago, but I didn't want to be the reason why your marriage failed. He says, you know, back in 2019, me and Tim were hanging together really tough. He said, at that time, Tim was heavily sleeping with Korean. Then he jumps to 2023. He says, remember in December of 2023 when we were all together for Christmas, Tim and Breanay were about to bake some cookies and they said they needed to go to the store. He said, I felt like something was off, so I said I was going to go with them. Breanay got really quiet. She started huffing and puffing and said, that's cool, you can go, but you're not going to be on the video. So he says after this, he notices that him and Breanay are off. She's talking to Tim a whole lot more, and Breanay comes to tell him that she needs space. So he was like, you mean like sleeping with other people kind of space? And she was like, no, just to allow our relationship to grow, to become stronger. He didn't understand it at the time, but he just went ahead and went along with it. So I'm guessing Brenay's birthday is in January, somewhere around Martin Luther King holiday. Because of that weekend coming up towards the holiday, they all had plans together. Now, Breanay had been sitting around the house sulking, not talking to Devin, not giving him any attention. But on that Thursday, Tim was coming to pick her up. She got all dressed up. She was all excited. She was all happy. Devin was not joining them until that Friday. Well, on that Friday, when he comes over, they're all there. Devin falls asleep. And as he's asleep, he overhears Tim and Breanay talking. And Breanay was like, hey, if I was to give you another chance, would you take it? And he said he really felt like he thought he was tripping at the time. But then he went and asked her about it once they got alone. And when he asked her about it, instead of her answering it, she just said she wanted a divorce. After all this, Breanay did not allow Devin to sleep in a bed with her. He had to go and sleep in the makeup room. So one night he decided he was going to give it another try. He went in the bedroom, asked her about doing some kind of actual thing, try something new with her. And she was like, I don't know. Then she turned around and said, well, Tim is on the way. Y'all, Tim showed up with an air mattress, went into the spare bedroom. Breanay went in there with him and stayed all night. Now, somewhere in this story, Breanay did find out that Tim and Corinne were sleeping together. And Devin said that she was very upset about it. She had become obsessed, saying like, why would he do that? Why would he mess with her? And he could not understand why she was so invested in it and why was she so upset. Y'all, he said that shortly after she asked for the divorce or somewhere around there, it only took 1 week for her to change Tim naming her phone to Baby. Listen, when we come back, Akira is on the stand for another maybe 45 minutes to an hour, and then Devin is going to take the stand. Devin has sent Akira. They have played a video of Breanay in Akira's bathroom, putting a hump in her back and shaking her rump, while Tim is standing behind her, and the kids are in the house at the exact same time. Y'all, this is getting worse and worse. So I have been heard about this video, but now people are actually being able to see it. So Breanay is like bending over in the bathroom in like an actual manner, and Tim is behind her doing the like hitting it from the back motion. Mind you, the kids are still in the house with them in another room. Now at this time, Akira is at work. Tim was supposed to be at work, but instead he told his job that he couldn't come in because he had a death in the family. Now, he actually did have a death in the family, but he didn't even go to the funeral, so he was really just trying to get some days off so he could be at home doing whatever he wanted to do. They also played a video of Brenay saying something to the nature of, "This was all worth it." Korean text messages between her and Tim are about to be shown, but I find it very ironic that Korean is not in court today. So she knew those messages were coming out. She's not in court, and she's been on Facebook popping it. She's been on Facebook talking all morning saying that y'all believe in her and she's a liar. Just because she says something doesn't mean it's true. She's in the comments saying that Akira needs mental help, that she keeps changing the information, she's changing the dates. None of this stuff is true. None of this stuff makes sense. Then somebody just came out and asked her, "How did you and your sister both sleep with the same man?" And she responded back, "If I'm a hoe, then let me be a hoe." Y'all, as soon as we have more court updates, I will let you all know. They have played.
All right, y'all. That's the end of the updates. I'm assuming that the rest of the court, or she gonna come back with us something, because I don't know if they had court today being Friday, but listen, I will keep you guys updated. But if you would like, her name is Alley Cat Meow 13 on the TikTok streets. Go over there, follow her, support her. But listen, come back over here for the reactions, okay? As you could see, it's a lot of eye openers and jaw droppers and everything going on in this court case. But just know, them two sisters is the devil.